sun sets, I come alive. The world keeps running, but I stand still, obeying your command, Yahuwah's will. No working hands, no toilet ground, only peace and joy abound. A day of rest, a gift so true, Yahuwah, I delight in you. Shabbat shalom, a time of peace, a quarter sign that will not cease. I lay it down, I leave it all, and in your presence I stand tall. No buy or sell it, just pure delight in Yahuwah's rest from evening light. A day for worship, a time to be with family close and heart set free. I hear your voice in stillness deep. You call me close, my soul to keep. Your love surrounds, your spirit leads. You give me rest, you meet my needs. Set apart from worldly ways, I lift my voice in songs of praise. Your covenant forever stands. I trust, obey, and lift my hands. The work is done, the table set. Your Sabbath peace I won't forget. I breathe it in, I let it flow. A glimpse of what's to come, I know. Shabbat shalom, a time of peace, a Kodesh sign that will not cease. I lay it down, I leave it all, and in your presence I stand tall. From week to week, this truth remains, a day of joy and touched by chains. Oh Yahuwah, my King, my rest, in your Sabbath I am blessed. I am selling, just pure delight in Yahuwah's rest from evening light. No buy and selling, just pure delight in Yahuwah's rest for hearts set free. No buy and selling, just pure delight in Yahuwah's rest for hearts set free. No buy and selling, just pure delight in Yahuwah's rest for hearts set free. From week to week, this truth remains, a day of joy and touched by chains. Oh Yahuwah, my King, my rest, in your Sabbath I am blessed.
Shabbat Shalom, beautiful family. My name is Jason.
I'm Caden. I'm Jaden.
I'm Nicole.
I'm Eli.
And we are the Yahuwah and the Torah channel. And this is an exciting time that we are indeed breaking bread with all of you guys out there with this little itty bitty tiny ecclesia that we have on this beautiful Shabbat day as we are keeping commandments by hanging out, by having a day of rest, by doing the will of our Creator. And for those who have never ever been a part of this reading before or any of this beautiful gathering that we have, welcome, 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 welcome to you guys who listen to this later, listen to this a week from now, a year from now, or whenever you guys listen to it. May the blessings, the Baruka of Yahuwah be upon your life. Now, we are the family that believes all of the laws, the statutes, and the commandments that are found in Scriptures from the front of the book all the way to the end of the book and reiterated in the Apocrypha are all for us today and these generations. In fact, when the Scriptures say that I will be blessed and I will bless you if you will keep the laws, the statutes, and the commandments, as he is talking to Abraham, Isaac, and Yaakov, I believe that is the same all generations that we are under today. And so for those of us that are waking up out of this churchianity system, this satanic religious system, whether it is any of the religious systems out there, congratulations. Welcome to the Remnant. Welcome to the walk. Welcome to a kingdom road that is absolutely a very, very good path in this day and this darkness that we are in. And we would love to welcome everybody. And we'd also like to give everybody a quick link to the same scriptures that we are going to be using today. And there's something very exciting I'd like to drop to you guys that we just found out today, is that the Yah Scriptures digital app that is available on Android is also available on Apple. has been downloaded in 178 countries. Now, I didn't even know how many countries there were. I had to go look it up, and it says there's roughly 193 countries. And I could not believe it. I could not believe it that this little tiny Scriptures app from this little tiny family sitting around this table that has been given to the world by the hand of our Creator has made it to 178 countries. I just find that absolutely astounding. And so for everybody that had a hand in helping us build these apps and the hand in being a part of the Yah Scriptures, guys, this is what it means to deliver the word of our Creator for free. And we believe that the name God is simply a surtitle. We believe that the name of our Creator is right before you. You can see it in this big blue book. This book has been affectionately called Big Blue. We didn't even name it Big Blue. It was you guys out there, and it has taken on. People write us all the time and say, hey, tell us about Big Blue. And well, Big Blue is Big Blue. It's a 7-pound Scriptures. It has 103 books, all of the Apocrypha, and it's also a large print. And so you see the beautiful name of our Creator right on the front of this, and it is in Paleo Hebrew. And a lot of people discuss the English versions of these. A lot of people are like, well, it has to be UH or VH or WH. Well, guys, we're not discussing something in English. Our Creator did not put the 10 commandments out in English. It was all in Hebrew. And he signed it with his name. He signed it with the same name that you sit there and see right there. So for all of those folks who think that the King James is some infallible version of Scriptures that has never been touched or corrupted or anything of the sort, somehow 7,000 plus times the name of our Creator has been pulled out. You have hundreds of times that the name of our beautiful Messiah, Yahushua, has been pulled out. And a lot of people will say Yeshua. There's a lot of variations to it, but a Hebrew man's name would have never been called Jesus because that letter Jah does not appear in the Hebrew language. In fact, the letter J wasn't even invented till the 1500s. The letter there was no such letter. So if we want to get closer to the correct naming, it is imperative that we bring it back to the Paleo Hebrew, and this is what you will find with Yah Scriptures. So again, everybody, welcome very much to this little tiny ecclesia. Cade, will you please open us up in prayer?
Gracious Father, thank you for this day, and we thank you for your Shabbat, your gathering, the day you have set apart amongst all days, and the day you told us to worship on, the day you told us to rest on, the day you told us to take apart and set apart from the rest of the days of the week. And we are here today, and we ask that you count it as blessings to us, that you count it as people who are trying to become yours, who are trying to be grafted into your kingdom, who are trying to become the set-apart people. And we thank you for this day, and we thank you for caring so much about us, that you would give us a day to set apart, that you would give us a day that we can just rest, and we can dive into your word and get closer to you, and forget all of our worries throughout the week, forget all the worldly worries. We thank you for all in His name. Amen.
Okay. All right, everybody. So now what we are going to do is something, well, first of all, let's do a Shema. Now, what you're seeing right here is the Shema, and Shema in Hebrew means hear and obey. So these are commandments to all of us, and to all of us that have come out of a religious system. It is crazy because we have all ended up with these evil dogmas. We've all ended up with traditions of men. We all ended up with pagan holidays we're keeping, thinking they were some sort of holy convocation. We were keeping the wrong day of the Sabbath. We were worshiping on the first day. We weren't worshiping on a seventh day. And so there is a naming scheme within Scriptures of a group of people, and we want to identify as these people. We want to be the Hebrews. We want to be those of Yisrael. As far as being a Christian, a Catholic, a Mormon, a Baptist, or whatever it is, those names don't appear in Scriptures. And so we have somehow linked a star to the wrong wagons, and the wagons are the wrong gravy trains, and the gravy trains have poison food. And so when we have these poison food gravy trains that tell us these wrong Scriptures, we have to get back into Scriptures. And the very most valuable things for any of us and any part of our lives is the first 5 books of Scriptures: Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. And inside of these 5 books are the words. When Jaden is just about to read this Shema, and it says that all of these things which he is commanding us today, the things he is commanding us today come out of the first 5 books. So when we have gone and we've said, oh, these laws have been nailed to the cross, it's been fulfilled. We have a rebel Messiah who has come with his Harley Davidson and a black leather jacket sporting a flag that is a pirate flag that says my new way, and they call it Christianity. Well, that doesn't exist in scriptures. None of that does. Our Messiah came in the name of his Father. He came in the Torah of his Father, and he came in the words of his Father. So Jade, will you please give us this Shema?
Hear, O Israel, Yahuwah Elohim, Yahuwah is one. You shall love Yahuwah with all your heart, and with all your being, and with all your might. And these words I command you today shall be in your heart, and you shall impress them upon your children, and shall speak of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up, and shall bind them as a sign on your hand, and they shall be a film between your eyes, and you shall write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates.
So the entire premise of just this verse right here is that we love these Torah commands. Not just love them, not just write them on our hearts, but they are a part of our life. We walk with them, right? We talk with them. They become a living, breathing entity into our lives. We don't make a business decision unless it goes through the words of the Torah. We don't make a life decision unless we are basing it upon the Torah commands. If we are somehow breaking the Torah in one of our decisions that we have, then we would not want to do what we were going to do. This is why it is very, very important, and why this is right now we're about to go through these laws, these statutes, and these commands, these same things that we're supposed to make a part of everything in our world. This is what we're going to read through. Some very, very exciting things. And before we do that, Miss Nicole, will you please, and I'm saying Miss Nicole, I'm not saying Miss Nicole, obviously, but I just wanted to clarify that because I never thought about that until a couple Shabbats ago when everyone kind of said that, or somebody said that, and I just want to clarify. It's Miss Nicole. That's how I affectionately refer to my wife. Okay, Miss Nicole, please greet our people.
All right, we have a pretty large family already this morning. All right, so we have Sue, Gina, Candy and Ruby, Learning the Way, Razul, Amaya, Sarah and William, Dolly and Jeremy, Mr. J905, that's a new name, so welcome to you, Joanna, Misty, Yah Scriptures, which is Chris, Sister Barb and her family, Crystal, Sylvia, Carol, did I say Joanna already? Daughter of Abraham, I'm scrolling, daughter of Yah, and then we have Brandy, and she has a whole list of people that are with her today. We have Danny Boy, Alex, Daniel, I'm probably going to say this one wrong, but Malia, and Brian, her neighbor. So welcome to all of you.
Sweet, everybody. Much love.
We have Obi Lines, Chris. We have, I'm scrolling, Jeannie Not of This World, Regina, Jeremy and Callan, and I think that's everybody. If I missed anybody, I do apologize.
Yeah, greetings to you all. Man, huge hugs, all big giant bear hugs. Let's do a Shabbat bear hug. We love you all. Family, family, family. This is all of us, for any one of you guys that have been in the Torah path very long. And, I talked to the guy in here, Chris, he's goes by Yah Scriptures, which is pretty cool. I think he was born in 1995, but I believe he's a loner in this tribe, in this path. And guys, this Torah path is a lot of times a loner path. As we get closer to the end, there will be more and more people that come around, but for the majority of us, we will be rejected by our families, by our friends. We're going to be the outcasts, and that's what we're supposed to be. Messiah Yahushua was a complete outcast. When it comes down to the Pharisaical and Sadducees and their entire religious system, he was an outcast. But you know what? In the terms of the Torah and in the terms of the kingdom, he's our leader. He is our leader that we want to aspire to be the same outcast that he was. And so when you guys are looking for that Torah group, when you guys are looking for that little ecclesia, it's not going to be something that is easy to find. And a lot of us will find these little groups, and these little groups have all these different beliefs because we end up with the dogmas of all these different religious systems. And it's so hard to find just a Torah-based group that doesn't have Judaism involved into it. And so when you end up with those who come out of Judaism and Christianity, and I don't even think calling yourself a Messianic Jew is the correct terminology, because if you're hooking your star under the wagon of the Jew itself, then you take on other books, right? You're not just talking about Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. You're talking about the Zohar, the Kabbalah, the Talmud. Inside of the Talmud, you have things like the Mithra, I think is what they call it. There's all of these different books, and they're called the oral Torah. They're things that did not come from our patriarchs. It did not come from a legitimate source. And when you actually read them and understand them, you would not want to hook your star to any kind of religion. This is why we are anti-religion in everything, because when you run the Torah into your life, this is a lifestyle. This is not a religion, right? When people are talking about religion, you see all these zealots that go out on Sunday and they go to church for a couple hours and they're like, oh, I'm a good Christian. This is not a one-day thing. This is an everyday thing. Just like the Shema said, this is something that we talk about when we get up, talk about when we walk, talk about when we're going to work. We have them as doorposts, right? It's like the Torah on our door. It's everything in our life. And so what we're going to do right here is we are going to read these beautiful, tremendous, stupendous, beautiful, it's just, I don't have enough descriptive words for the amount of love that I have for the Torah. And this is what people have tossed to the cross. They toss this in the ditch. They don't want it. They'll take 10 commandments, but the other 140 commandments, they're like, well, who cares about harming, a disabled person, right? Every single one of these commands have value for our lives today, tomorrow, and for the future if we are able to make this kingdom walk. So guys, with this, when we go through these Torah commands, this is just like they did back in the days with Ezra, Nehemiah, when they were sitting there, the people coming out of captivity in Babylon, and they were hearing these for the very first time, and they were crying, they were weeping. And guys, this is our time that we can talk as a family. This is what the beautiful little ecclesia is. When you guys have questions, we try to break into it. Sometimes this gets a little long-winded, right? And I don't see a problem with this. We are here, and we're not designated teachers. We're not some special religious group of people. We're simply a little family sitting out around this little brown table out in the middle of the jungle, reading scriptures, trying to find our way to the kingdom to come. And we love these scriptures. And so as you guys have questions, as you guys have comments, throw them in there. We will try to address them. And if some of these commandments don't make any sense to you, well, let's discuss them. Let's talk about them, because they are amazing. Do you have something already? Mm-hmm. What do you got? She gives me that look from across the table. I know something's up. All right, what is it?
Daughter of Abraham, is consigning for someone other than your spouse against Torah?
Yes, it does. It actually says that in the scriptures. You're not supposed to. What is the Torah command, guys? Remember it? You're not supposed to basically put yourself out on the limb for somebody else. So, does anyone else remember this?
I don't know this. I don't know what's consigning me.
Consigning means that you sign your name for somebody's loan. You'll sign your name. You take on a debt for somebody else.
Yeah.
They don't.
Is that in Torah or is it in Proverbs?
No, it's in Torah. I mean, it's go look it up. Yes, it is. You're not. Maybe it's in Proverbs, but you maybe look it up. One of you guys. But yeah, I would not. Do that. It's not something we should do. The boys will look that up, and we will get back to that one here. Okay, so as we do this, let's get into this. Torah command number 1. Be fruitful.
Multiply.
Replenish the earth.
Subdue it. Have dominion over the fish, the fowl, and every living creature.
The earth bearing, every tree is for food.
Man and woman should build their own families.
Master sin.
Every clean moving thing that lives shall be food for you.
Do not eat the blood. Very, very important thing, guys, right? We have a generation of people that, I believe this has been happening since the days of probably Nimrod and beyond. They're all a bunch of bloodsuckers, right? The vampires exist. The people that truly love to drink the blood. And you're not just drinking some sort of foul thing that we have a commandment that's reiterated a long time into this, but all of these freak shows out of Hollywood, all of these psychopaths that are there, right? They have all of these bloodletting rituals, right? Not only are they sacrificing the children, not only are they drinking the blood. Back in the day, I think it was Angelina Jolie, and then she had that crazy dude that she was married, the Satanist guy. I think his name was Tommy or something. But they used to carry around vials of blood, their own blood, on their necks. And this is something that the children of the Most High, we don't do, right? This is why I encourage everybody to cook your steaks. You know, keep them hot. Keep them. Don't eat this medium rare. Don't eat all this crazy stuff like this, right? We need to be a separated people. And a lot of this, it doesn't make sense to people. And a lot of people will fight against, eating rare steaks. Or like, well, it's really not blood. It's something in there. Guys, we have harvested cows before. We have chopped them up from life to death. And there is blood all up in this meat. Like you might not think that what you're cooking out of it is blood, but it's absolutely blood, which means we need to not be these people. And the blood of the Satanists, the adrenochrome and all this other this stuff, it gets them high, right? This is a drug. This is just another classic kind of a drug that we are told as Yah's people not to do. Eli, did you find our answer?
So it's just in Proverbs. So
Okay, read it in Proverbs. What does it have in Proverbs?
My son, if you have put up security for your neighbor, if you have shaken hands and pledged for a stranger, you've been trapped by the words of your lips. So do this, my son, to free yourself. It's one of them. Whoever puts up security for a stranger will surely suffer, but whoever refuses to shake hands and pledges safe.
Make sure you say the verse.
Okay, this is Solomon's?
Yeah, Proverbs. First one is Proverbs 6, 1-3. The second one is Proverbs 11-15.
Here, speak up.
And then see.
Everybody mumbling.
Proverbs 17:18. One who has no sense shakes hands in pledge and puts up security for a neighbor. Proverbs 22:26-27. Do not be one who shakes hands in pledge or puts up security for debts. If you lack the means to pay, your very bed will be snatched from under you.
Yeah, so there it is. I guess it's not in Torah per se, but we do have some of, and Solomon, he wasn't, an example of a Boy Scout by any means, and I guess Boy Scouts aren't what they used to be, but you guys get the point. So you're basically falling under the hands of it, and we do have a Torah command that says do not borrow or take from the nations, and when you take out a bank loan, you are absolutely falling under the hand of the nations. Same for house mortgages, same for all of this kind of stuff, right? They will give you a house mortgage, so literally they just wait for you. They can't wait for you to default, right? That is the whole point of this, to take your house, to take your car, to take all of this stuff. And these banksters will smile, they'll give you your loans, and you're enslaved. You are indebted into it. And that's not the right way for Yah's people, right? We can do better, and we're definitely not going to be borrowing from the nations. Now that takes us to the next thing. Did you have something else?
I just want to say hi to Mama CA and Josh Rhodes.
Hey, Josh Rhodes is in. Wow, I saw him on the other channel. What's up, Josh? Man, brother, it has been a long time. And Mama CA, what is up, dear sis? Much love to you and your whole family, who we don't see very often, but just tell them we love them as well. All right, the next command is the next two commands are just simply astounding, right? One is called walk before me and be perfect. Now that sounds like something very, very hard to do, right? When we are walking towards our Creator, perfection is defined in the words of the Torah. These laws, statutes, and commandments that we are working on today are how we can make our walk a better way. And when we have taken the laws and nailed them to the cross, or we don't care about them, and because it's something that has no value in our life, there's no way we're ever going to be a Torah-observant, Yah-loving people. You can't say you love your Elohim Most High, those who say they love God with all their heart, with all their mind, with all their soul, and all their strength, when you don't care what He has to say. It's an oxymoron. It's a lie. It's a fabrication. It's just not true, right? It's the same thing for your parents. You can go, I love my parents with all I have to say, but I can't stand what they have to say. I can't. The mere words they say, I falls on deaf ears because I don't give a darn what they have to say. So the instructions, the only thing we can do. And guys, being a Torah keeper does not mean you're perfect. It does not mean you're sinless. It does not mean that we don't fall into adversity or darkness or problems in our lives, right? It means that we understand what the walk is and how we are called to be part of the kingdom people. So every day is a walk to perfection. Every day we try to get a little bit better than the day before. Every day we evaluate the day. How did we do? Did we do this in the ways our Creator has said to do it? Have we done it in the ways our Messiah has given us our example to do this as well? Now that takes us to the next commandment, which is the biggest, largest commandment in all of Scriptures. There's not a single commandment that is reiterated more times than this commandment. And this is guard Yahuwah's covenant, laws, statutes, and commandments. That is a big one. Over 50 some times right here, we are told to do this. Now, this is contrary to every one of these religious systems. You have one religious system like the Seventh-day Adventists, and they like keep a part of Shabbat, but still they fire up their car and drive off to their little communities and do all their kind of stuff, right? But when you are talking about guarding the covenant, laws, statutes, and commandments, if you don't know them, you have by defaulted, you have broken this commandment. If you say they're nailed to the cross, blah, 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 all of the same doctrine of devils that people tell us to do, that you're breaking this commandment. And look at the size of this. We don't have a single commandment anywhere in the Torah this size. It is enormous. And so guys, it is very important that we understand we were not told this command over and 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 over just to let it fall on deaf ears, right? So get rid of the religious system, get rid of all the stuff that we've been taught and trained and all the stuff we think we know, and let's come back to Scriptures as a covenant people so that we can walk this path as our Creator has wanted us to do this. Okay, continue on. Every male shall be circumcised at 8 days old.
Teach children the commands and guard the way of Yahuwah.
Remember Yahuwah's name for all generations.
Keep the Passover, Pesach.
Keep the feast of unleavened bread, the festival of matzah.
There is one Torah for the stranger and the Hebrew.
Sanctify all firstborn to Yahuwah.
There are no mighty ones before Yahuwah.
You shall not make graven images.
Do not bring Yahuwah's name to naught.
Keep the Shabbat, the Sabbath day.
And it's a big one too. Look at this, guys. Look at the size of this. In comparison to little commandments like that, like where do not bring Yahuwah's name to naught, which is a big one, right? We have 4 iterations of this. But yet in this first 5 books of Scriptures, keep the Shabbat almost takes up an entire page. It's one of these commands. It is an appointed time. It is a time every single week that when we don't keep the Shabbat, we have broken this command. And it is something that was built for mankind. Man was not meant to run 7 days a week. And Miss Nicole was giving me the wonder today. She's like, man, I wonder how we did it back in the days where we were going 7 days a week. And we used to, right? We didn't know. We were a little goody two-shoe Christian group that we went off to our little Sunday, and then we went off and bought a bunch of stuff on a Sunday, which, you know, it's not a day of worship anyway. Continuing on. Honor your parents.
Do not kill.
Do not break wedlock.
Do not steal.
Do not make false accusations against your neighbor.
Do not covet anything of your neighbor's.
Do not make an altar or a rock to the tool is touched.
Do not go up to the altar by the steps.
If a man steals cattle, he shall restore it 5 times.
Yahuwah's laws for criminals.
Do not lie with beasts.
No sacrifices to other Elohim.
Do not oppress a stranger, fatherless, or widow.
Do not charge your brother interest.
If you borrow your neighbor's raiment, return it to him before sunset.
Do not curse the ruler of your people.
Do not eat what is torn of any beast.
No false report.
Do not follow a multitude of evil.
Do not judge unrighteously against the poor.
Bring back your enemy's cattle if you find it going astray.
Help the animals of your enemy.
Stay away from rumors and gossipers.
Take no bribes.
Do not oppress a stranger. Love the stranger.
Give your land rest in the 7th year.
Do not mention any pagan names.
Eat the feast of Yahuwah.
Do not cook your goat in its mother's milk.
Obey the messenger Yahuwah sends before you.
Do not bow down to Elohim.
Serve Yahuwah.
You said other Elohim, right? Do not bow down to other Elohim.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Just wanted to reiterate that. Serve Yahuwah. That's our Elohim we bow down to. Elohim Most High.
Make no covenant with other Elohim or outsiders of the land.
Do not make your use this anointing oil on normal persons. Do not make your use perfume on normal persons.
Do not eat the fat.
Those big old chunks of fat that are on that steak, get rid of it, right? This is all part of the stuff that's part of the Levitical process of cooking this stuff up. That is a sweet smell to our Creator, which should lead you to wonder how far away is our Creator really that he can't smell things of this nature, right? So when you eat the fat, and dear old mom, she is kind of weird. She will literally cut off all the fat and then eat it at the very end like a dessert. I'm like, Mom, you should not be doing this. She's like, oh, I love the fat. She'll even eat my stepdad's fat on this plate. And it's just the nastiest thing ever. And it's something that is not healthy. The thing about the Torah is it is a guidepost for life. It's about health, spiritual health. It's about staying alive in this crazy world, where this crazy world wants us to eat all this crazy stuff that is unclean for us. We're all sick. There's like 40% of the U.S. population that has diabetes. The United States in of itself is the sickest country in the world, which is crazy. I found that really crazy when they started putting out them stats a little bit ago, and I'm like, wow, all of my hometown people are sicker than the rest of these third world countries, which, you know, it doesn't look like, everybody doesn't look like they're in good health down here. So it's just very, very frustrating that, you know, we're stuck in this. And, you know, we get some people every once in a while, you get RFK out there and it's like, well, you should take the red dyes out of stuff. But yet at the same time, he's still trying to stab everybody up with all of his designer stuff from his buddies and all this kind of stuff, right? We are not to be injecting our temples with anything. We're not to be eating unclean food. Don't eat the fat. Continuing on. Do what you say you are going to do.
Return. What is your neighbor's?
Obey Yahuwah's dietary laws.
Women's time separation.
Obey Yahuwah's hygiene laws.
Keep the Day of Atonement, Yom HaKippurim.
Do not uncover the nakedness of your family.
Do not take your woman's sister for wife.
Do not lie with a woman in her uncleanness.
You shall not sacrifice your children to Moloch.
Do not be a sodomite.
Be Kodesh.
Do not reap corn to your field, or you shall not glean your vineyard.
Do not deal falsely or defraud your neighbor.
Do not lie or be a liar.
Pay your workers their day's wage they are due.
Do not harm the disabled. You know, this is one of these commands that is, it's one of these things. I'll tell you, we have this market on Tuesday, and we have this lady, and she's very much disabled, and she's very ruthless to us, and she's really, really nasty. And I always think of this command because in any other event, I would probably say things because of the way that she treats everybody there. But because she's disabled, it keeps coming back to me that I need to make sure that I am not messing with the disabled, that I am not harming those that are messed up. Now, when you take laws like this and you have no basis, and they're like, oh, these are all on the cross. We've nailed these. Jesus came and got rid of all the laws for us, right? How many times have you heard that? Oh, Jesus is our Sabbath. Jesus is our laws. But yet we have a commandment like this, and how many times do we go through something in the middle of the day where we have people that are completely disabled that we will shun, that we will do something to because we haven't rethought about these commands? There's a little command everywhere in the Torah for every part of our day in all these things. And when we know the Torah, I become a better person because instead of me saying something that would probably harm the disabled, I just continue letting her be ruthless. And that's what the Torah is about, right? The Torah is about not imposing more problems on people than they already have. Continuing on, do not endanger your neighbor.
Do not hate your brother.
Rebuke your neighbor for his sin.
Love your neighbor as yourself.
Do not diverse your cattle.
Do not mingle your seed.
Do not mingle linen and wool.
Do not lie with a taken woman.
Do not eat the fruit of the trees for 3 years.
Do not practice sorcery.
Do not round your beard with the corners of your head.
Do not cut yourself for the dead.
Do not get tattoos.
You know, this thing on tattoos, I was watching this thing the other day, and it talks about the lifespan of people that get tattoos, especially in today's societies where all of this ink is completely, it's like worse than I guess it was back in the days. How that gets worse than back in the days, I guess with the technology or whatever they're putting into it or however they're processing this body tattoo ink, is it's making people very, very sick. So, you know, you don't see a lot of really old people that are really tatted up, if you know what I mean. Like, if you can remember going into a nursing home and seeing those with neck tattoos and face tattoos, things of that nature, I don't think I can recall any really old person. And I'm sure they're out there. There's always going to be the exceptions. But as far as what we're trying to do with the Torah is we're trying to make our lives better. We're trying to be a separated group of people. And when we are separated, we don't look like the rest of the world, right? A lot of us have ended up with tattoos. A lot of us didn't know the Torah, right? We thought the laws were nailed to the cross. And so we've gotten it. But as far as some of the reasoning why our creator's like don't get tattoos is he doesn't want us to look like the pagans. He doesn't want us to do what the rest of the world does. And these are the kind of things that the rest of the world does. And the rest of the world is very, very sick. And so we want to keep our temples as pristine and clean as possible because we want the power of the Ruach HaKodesh to enter into us, right? And we're not going to have the power of the Ruach HaKodesh into our addicted, trashed bodies that we're not even focusing on Yah, right? So health is a very, very big part of the Torah. You have something?
Daughter of Abraham says so that she can understand. Are you saying that Torah prevents us from rebuking a disabled person?
I would be very, very careful. I'm not saying that we shouldn't rebuke a disabled person, but we have the Torah command, right? Don't harm a disabled person, right? A disabled person is already dealing with a lot of problems, right? And Messiah, people ask Messiah Yahushua, is it them or their family that sinned? Who is it that sinned? Why did these people become disabled? Jade, will you please pet the dog? And so it's something that it depends, right? I mean, if you're sitting there and a disabled person has a pentagram and they're worshiping and they're killing a cat in the pentagram, rebuke them, right? Obviously, we have don't do sorcery, don't do all this other stuff, right? And it's for the power of their health. But if it's something that is an annoyance to you and it's not something that is profitable to the kingdom, it's best to hold our tongue. So I hope that makes sense. I believe it violates scripture concerning the creation of our bodies. The origin of tattoos are pagan. Yeah, it's literally graffiti. Yeah, we're changing up the beautiful design that our Creator has given to us, right? I mean, we all have these moles and we all have freckles. Some of us have freckles. Some of us have, hair and funny spots. I mean, we are built in a unique fashion that our Creator has had a hand in every bit of it, and that is His handiwork, right? If He wanted us to have a dragon tattoo on the back of our neck or a butterfly on our backs, He would have put a butterfly on our backs. Right? So that's what it is. Okay, continuing on. Do not prostitute your daughter.
Do not defile your temple.
Do not consult the medium.
Respect your elders.
Have correct weights and measures.
Do not walk in the manner of the nation.
And again, this reiterates all of this stuff, right? Tattoos, we're walking in the manner of the nations. Drinking blood, all the Satanists do that, right? Christmas, Easter, all of these pagan holidays, Thanksgiving, right? These are all man-made holidays. And when you're doing what man is doing, then we're not doing what our Creator has told us to do. Our Creator has given us appointed times. There's feast days, there's a fast day, there is various days inside of our Creator's calendar that we are told to observe. One of them being Shabbat. You're here right now, right? That's what we're doing. And look at all the people who keep Shabbat, right? Very, very few. Look around your neighborhood. Look out your doors. Right? Everybody's out there shopping on a Saturday. Everybody's like, oh, this is the day. Right? They have literally made the Shabbat by the Catholic Church, the hand of the Catholic Church. They have made it just a shopping day, a day of relaxation, have fun, watch your football games, blah, 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 blah. We are not told to walk in the manners of the nation. Mr. Nicole, what do you got?
Brandy would like you to discuss honoring parents and elders.
Well, I mean, it's a commandment, right? I mean, we have a commandment of honoring our parents, and it's one of these things that most of our parents are all paganized, right? They're all happy Gentiles, right? And it's one of these things that I have to very much hold my tongue as my dear old mother laughs at the laws, laughs at the good commandments. I told her long when the hocus pocus stuff was coming out earlier this decade, I said, don't do this, whatever you're doing. This is something that's really, really bad. And she's 5 in, right? And she's super, super sick. And I don't know how, what else do you do? I told you so. But those are the kind of things, right? A lot of us have a lot of resentment for the way we were raised. A lot of us have a lot of hurt, anguish, anxiety, problems with those. We're told to honor them and love them to the very best of our abilities. And, it's important in this paganized society because there is always hope for absolutely everybody. Even though dear mom makes me feel like an idiot every time I talk to her, I still have hope that at some point something is going to click and her satanic Christian religion that she is, neck deep into she's going to come out of this and go, okay, let's talk about this Torah. Let's see what the greatest things are. And so in the event that I didn't honor her or respect her or hold my tongue, I would never ever have these opportunities. And her opportunities are over at the point of her death, right? It is over. That's the last breath, and she's going to live eternity in a very, very bad place where the joke's on her. And I don't even know. I'm going to be sad, but I don't know what else to do at this point, right? The book of 2nd Ezra talks about that we're to celebrate those who are making the kingdom, and don't be sad about those who don't make it, because the people who do not make it are a wave compared to a drop of water. That is literally what scriptures say. And so people need to understand most of the world doesn't make it. Every generation has a little itty bitty tiny group of people that make it, and those generations will add up until there's some people in the Shamayim. But as far as our generations right here, look at the wickedness of this place. Look at the stuff that people do, and so as far as honoring our parents, right, it's a matter of, it's a work, right? It is sometimes very, very hard to do. I don't know if that answers it, but let's continue on. Keep the feast of first fruits, Shavuot, Omer Count, Pentecost.
Keep the feast of trumpets, Yom Torah.
Keep the feast of Sukkot, Shemi Ateret.
If you blaspheme the name of Yahuwah, you shall be put to death.
If you kill your neighbor's animal, you must give him another.
Repay injury for injury.
Honor the Yobel, the Jubilee year.
Confess your sins to Yahuwah and repay who you have trespassed against.
Law be a Nazir.
Wear zizi on the four corners of your garments.
The Torah of whoever touches a corpse.
Follow Yahuwah's law of inheritance.
Torah, keep your oath to Yahuwah.
Do not add or take away from the word. One of my most favorite commands of all times. Every single time that people worship on a Sunday, you're breaking this command. Every time that you say all food has been made clean and you eat pork, you're breaking this command, right? You're breaking all sorts of commands in this. When we take on Judaism, right? If you want to become a Jew, you are breaking this command. If you want to become a Christian, breaking this command. Hindus breaking this command, because we have a different set of doctrine. If we really want to be so-called religious people, then why aren't we using the book that we have been given and not all of these man-made dogmas, all of these traditions of men? It goes to the next command of guarding our soul. We have one shot at this world, right? We have no idea the last breath that we're ever going to take. We have no idea that our hearts are going to explode outside of our chest or stroke out or something of the sort. But what we need to do is we need to make sure that we are ready for that last moment. And if you're living with the laws nailed to the cross, that is not guarding your soul. If you're eating unclean food and waiting to get trichinilia or all these little worms and all this bacteria and stuff like that, and you die with staph infection in the hospital, that's not guarding your soul. It's not guarding your life. And it's not taking us to the next command, which is learning to fear Yahuwah, right? This one is iterated a lot of times. We have this command that literally says that we're supposed to fear him. Now, nailing his words to the cross is not fearing him, right? That's absolutely just telling him to get bent. They're like, I can do better. I'll figure this out my own way, at the detriment of your own soul. And that takes us to the next commandment, that we're supposed to love Yahuwah with all of our heart. And that's not being done when you don't love his commands, when you don't love the words of your advisor, of your creator, of the president of the universe, then you don't love him with all your heart. You're lying to yourself. Okay, do you have something, Mr. Cole? Mm-hmm. What do you got?
Jeannie says, can you go over how to keep the feast when we are single and have no one to feast with? I have a hard time doing it.
If you have a dog or a cat, I think Jeannie has a dog, doesn't she?
She has birds too.
Birds. Yeah, well, sometimes in this world, we're living at the end of time, right? We're living at the end of the age. And a lot of times we're going to be hanging out together online. Sometimes we're not going to have anybody else to do. So we can do the Torah commands to the very best of our abilities, and sometimes we're doing it alone, right? Sometimes you're popping a tent out in your backyard by yourself, sleeping for Sukkot. Sometimes you're moving your bed to the living room for Sukkot, or trying to do everything possible that you can do to be set apart. We're not going to perfect a lot of these appointed times right now because we don't live in the land. We don't live in a world where we have people that love the commands and love the ways of our Creator. So it is a lonely path, and it will always be a lonely path up until the kingdom comes, up until we get to the days of things like Hebrews 8, right? When you look at that chapter, Hebrews 8, it's an incredible chapter. It's a futuristic chapter. It's something that has not occurred yet. It's not even close to occurring. And it's something that when you look to your neighbor doesn't have to be taught the Torah because they know the Torah. When you look at your friends and your family and all this stuff, everybody knows the Torah. It's just a part of our lives. Right now, the Torah is a part of most people's lives. It's a nuance. It's something of a zealot system, a whole bunch of, they call them the zoos, right? I mean, how many times do you get labeled a zoo? You know, just trying to keep the Torah commands, and people don't realize the zoos aren't Torah keepers. Okay.
Daughter of Abraham wants to know, so are we supposed to sleep outside in a tent?
On Sukkot, yeah. I mean, you're supposed to have a different dwelling.
Make a sukkah.
Yeah, a sukkah. You're supposed to have a sukkah, a sukkot. You're supposed to have a temporary dwelling. And sometimes because of our pack, it has been a tent in the middle of our living room. Sometimes we bring mattresses out of our rooms to where the thing is, our dogs will rip through these tents. It's very difficult in some situations that we have to do some of these commands, but we are doing them to the very best of our abilities that we can do them at the time. When our dogs have passed, unfortunately, we will probably have little tents outside, and it's going to be a much different time. We're going to have all sorts of stuff outside, but it's a strange routine in our place, and it's just, you know, we're not in the land, so we have to do the very best that we can do, because what these are, guys, is these are rehearsals. This is not something that we're meant to get perfected, but what we're meant to do is get into the rhythm of the commandment, because there's a good chance that when the messengers come and take us from point A to point B, when the second coming of Messiah Yahushua comes, Mount Zion, when the New Jerusalem comes down on Mount Zion, there could be another Exodus, right? There could be all of us that are having to be in tents, that are having to be in temporary shelters as we move from point A to point B. There's all sorts of crazy stuff. And the kingdom to come is going to be about Shabbats. It's going to be about Sukkot. It's going to be about the Feast of Trumpets. It's going to be about all of these appointed times that we will be keeping. And then we'll have our directors. We'll have Moshe. We will have Messiah Yahushua. We'll have Enoch. We'll have all these guys that understand exactly what the things that we're missing. Guys, we're 6,000 years. We're so close to 6,000 years of our time being out here, right? We're at the very edge of time. Whether it's this lifetime or the next lifetime, it is very, very close. So the thing is, get in sync with it to the very best that we are able to get into sync. And the rest of it will come. A lot of people do all sorts of crazy stuff on these days. And, you know, there's even people there's groups of Torah keepers. I'm not mentioning any names, but they'll actually be out there sacrificing lambs. Like they'll kill off the lamb at sunset. And, you know, whether or not I have a hard time with it, but at the same time, that was something that the people did on Passover as well. It wasn't just the priests that killed the lambs, it was the people. So it's what we find in our heart, mind, and soul, and what it is, and we just need to be as correct as possible and not offer strange fire.
Daughter of Abraham says, so if we're not, are we in sin?
If you're not keeping an appointed time, yeah, you're missing appointed time. You're missing your opportunity to get in line. And again, it's not something that you can keep to perfection, but you can attempt to keep it. And every single year that you do it, it gets a little bit easier with your understanding of it. And again, we're at the end of time. So we don't have a great lot of understanding. We don't have a Levitical priesthood around us to teach us the ways. We don't have forefathers and foremothers that have kept keeping Torah for all generations. We're just coming back into the truth at the end of time, and we will have advisors. And that's what Messiah Yahushua was all about. Okay, anything else? Or we good?
She's referring to not sleeping in a tent.
It says like a different location, right? Like I said to us, sometimes the best we can do with our dogs is move all our mattresses out of our rooms, shut our rooms down, and move out to another part of the house. We've had many events and almost dog fights, almost losing our lives with the dogs and tents. And so we have, for the sake of keeping the humans alive, we have to adjust what we are doing. But yeah, I would say to do it. Even if you have to pop a tent in your front living room, right? Get a little tiny pup tent and sleep in your pup tent on a little mattress. It'd be something different, right? We got a days of appointed times. Okay, continuing on. Bind the Torah, laws upon your hand, and the frontlets between your eyes. Let them be absolutely everything for all you do for all times.
Write the laws on your doorposts.
Do not tempt Yahuwah.
Do what is right and good in the sight of Yahuwah.
Do not be afraid of your enemies.
Remember Yahuwah.
Circumcise your heart.
Cleave to Yahuwah.
Swear by his name.
Destroy graven images.
Do not make an idol of Yahuwah as the pagans do to their Elohim.
Rejoice in all Yahuwah has blessed you with.
Do not do what is right in your own eyes. Right? This is the Christian motto right here. If there is a religious system that is doing what is right in your own eyes, take any flavor of Christianity, Catholicism, right? You got rosary beads, you're praying to Peter, you got idols and statues, you pray to Mary. I mean, that is the craziest, one of the craziest religions that are out there. And the people that are involved in Catholicism, if you look at the actual really high level people, the Jesuits, and all of these people, they worship Lucifer openly. That is their God, right? Do they tell that down to their own people? No, you got to do a little research, but that is crazy. But it doesn't matter what religion you have. Scientology, well, those guys are doing crazy stuff in their own eyes. It's all crazy. Religious systems in of itself is nuts.
Do not hearken to the words of the false prophets.
Do not make any baldness between your eyes for the dead.
You shall not eat any abominable thing.
You shall give to a stranger clean food that dies of itself, but you shall not eat of it.
You have tithed your increase of seed year by year.
Well, that's the end of the 7-year lease.
Do not borrow from the nations.
There's that one, I think it was daughter of Abraham that was mentioning that, right? Do not borrow from the nations. When you co-sign for somebody, you are literally putting your name, your livelihood on the bottom of the stuff, right? Whoever it is, your friend, your family, whatever it is, when they don't pay, which I'm sure they don't not mean to pay, right? People fall into hard times and you're a co-signer for it. So you have borrowed from the nations, and that's the command I was talking about, that you wouldn't want to pull out a loan from the nations if that's even possible. Continuing on, do not harden your heart.
Don't shut your hand from the poor.
Guard month 1 of Yahuwah's calendar.
3 times a year, all males shall appear before Yahuwah.
You shall make judges and officers in all your gates.
Do not plant Asherah poles near the altar.
There must be 2 or 3 witnesses.
Hearken unto the prophet Yahuwah has chosen.
Prophetess of Deuteronomy.
Do not remove your neighbor's property line.
How to deal with a false witness among Torah keepers.
First child, double portions.
If your brother's cattle or clothes are lost and you find them, you must return them.
A woman shall not wear what pertains to a man, nor a man wear what pertains to a woman.
If you find a bird's nest with the mother and the babies or eggs, take the babies but not the mother.
If you build a new house with a flat roof that is able to be lived on, you must put a railing around it.
Do not be a prostitute.
Do not use dirty money.
Torah of divorce.
Do not take a person's millstone for pledge.
If you lend to your brother, do not enter his house to get your payment. He must bring it to you. Return his clothing before sunset if that was his pledge.
Do not oppress a hired servant that is poor and needy.
Every man shall be put to death for his own sin.
Do not go back to the rotten sheep in the field, leave it for the stranger, fatherless, and widow.
Do not muzzle your ox when he treads out grain.
If your brother dies and has no child, you shall take his wife and name the firstborn after your brother.
At the end of 7 years, you are to read the Torah at the Feast of Sukkot, Feast of Tabernacles.
Yeah, who was it up here who was talking about dreams? Obi Lions, Chris. Yeah, anybody else have strange dreams on the Shabbat? I don't know about strange dreams on the Shabbat, but I will tell you as of late, I would say probably the last 8 or 9 months, dreams have been wild. More wild than I can ever remember on stuff. And I don't know exactly why it is. I've had some just incredible earthquake dreams, like my entire house when, sometimes I have these dreams I'm back in the States, I'm back in Oregon. And my entire house is falling around right above my head. There's just some really crazy stuff that I'm dreaming. And, it's some wild stuff, right? You never know who the master of the dreams is. And, one thing is we know that Yah is able to speak to us through our dreams. And so it's one of those things that, I mentioned on this comment because there is something that's weird happening with dreams, at least for me. And I don't know about anyone else. Anyone else around here have anything?
I have weird dreams as well.
Anything changing in your dreams at all?
I always have weird dreams.
Just always weird?
More dreams.
More dreams? Yeah, more dreams that you can remember, I guess. And so, yeah. Okay, so here we are, guys. We are into, let's roll into this. What is the Ethiopian Bible? Which one is that?
That's one of the originals that actually had Enoch in it. But we haven't had the original one. I can't find an original one anywhere yet.
Okay, yeah, so I guess we don't have any comment on the Ethiopian Bible. Okay, so here we are, Numbers 33, Jade. You just took off on us on this whole thing. Yeah, Cade, will you please, do you have anything on 32? Give us a quick breakdown of where we are at. And Jade, stick around next time, will you please?
All right, so we have the children of Reuben and Gad, and they asked Moshe, they said, hey, this land, before we pass over to the promised land, this land is really good because we're a livestock tribe. We have lots of livestock, and they stay here. And Moses was like, this is wrong. You guys can't leave them. You guys can't leave your people to fight, and then you guys just chill out and do nothing and relax. That's wrong. That'd be wrong in everyone else's eyes. And they said, that's okay. We will fight with the people. And then when we are all settled in and everyone else is settled in, we will go back to our homes, but we will leave our children and our wives here with the livestock, and we will go on to fight the battles with the children of Israel. And that was good in the eyes of Moshe and Yah.
Okay, so here we are into Bimidbar, Numbers 33. These are the departures of the children of Yisrael, who went out of the land of Mitzrayim by their divisions under the hand of Moshe and Aaron. And Moshe wrote down the starting points of their departures at the command of Yahuwah. And these are their departures according to their starting points. So they departed from Ramses in the first month. On the 15th day of the first month, on the morrow of the Pesach, the children of Yisrael went out with a high hand before the eyes of all the Mitzrayites. And the Mitzrayites were bearing all their firstborn, whom Yahuwah had smitten among them. Also on their mighty ones, Yahuwah had executed judgments. Then the children of Yisrael departed from Ramses and camped at Succoth. And they departed from Succoth and camped at Etham, which is on the edge of the wilderness. And they departed from Etham and turned back to Pi-ha-Kirioth, which is before Baal-Zephon, and they camped near Migdal. And they departed from before Ha-Kirioth and passed over through the midst of the sea into the wilderness, went 3 days' journey in the wilderness of Etham, and camped at Marah. And they departed from Marah and came to Elim. At Elim were 12 springs of water and 70 palm trees, so they camped there. And they departed from Elim and camped by the Sea of Reeds. And they departed from the Sea of Reeds and camped in the wilderness of Sin. And they departed from the wilderness of Sin and camped at Dophkah. And they departed from Dophkah and camped at Alush. And they departed from Alush and camped at Rephidim. And there was no water for the people to drink, and they departed from Rephidim and camped in the wilderness of Sinai. And they departed from the wilderness of Sinai and camped at Kirboth Ha-Tatakawa. Say that one, Eli. What's that one?
Ha-Tatawa.
Hatawa. Sounds kind of Indianish, if you know what I mean. And they departed from Kirroth at Ha-Tatawa and camped at Katzaroth. And they departed from Katzaroth and camped at Rithmah. And they departed from Rithmah and camped at Rimmon Peretz. And they departed from Rimmon Peretz and camped at Livnah. And they departed from Livnah and camped at Rissah. And they departed from Rissah and camped at Kehelithia. Say that one, Eli.
Keheletha.
Yeah, Eli was our reader when we were doing Yah Scriptures, and so he got really good at reading these words. And they departed from Kehelatha and camped at Mount Shafher. And they departed from Mount Shafher and camped at Karadah. And they departed from Karadah and camped at Makaloth. And they departed from Makaloth and camped at Takath. And they departed from Takath and camped at Tarak. And they departed from Tarak and camped at Mithkah. And they departed from Mithkah and camped at Kashmana. And they departed from Kashmana and camped at Masharoth. And they departed from Masharoth and camped at Bene Yaakan. And they departed from Bene Yaakan and camped at Kor Ha-Gidgad. And they departed from Kor Ha-Gidgad and camped at Yath-Bath-Ha. And they departed from Yath-Bath-Ha and camped at Avranah. All right, guys, why do we have this? Why do we have a exactly where these people went?
We have like a history that we can trace back to for proof.
Yeah, you know, that's the one thing about scriptures is, you know, when you read scriptures and you go through it, especially like Chronicles and various books of that nature, it gives us a history of our past. And it is within this history that, you know, there's a lot of people out there that are always trying to debunk the scriptures. And that's one of the things that if the scriptures were able to be debunked, then this would be part of this would be like, oh, well, they went here and they couldn't have gone here or this and that. That's the thing about scriptures. It is very, very clear that, you know, the lineages all the way to our Messiah and beyond, it's kept it in a very, very good order for us. And I think it's worthy that we thank our Creator for being able to preserve as much as He preserved for us. Now, there's always a lot of other scriptures out there. When you're reading the book of 2nd Ezra, it's talking about him making 70 or so different books inside like a 7-day time span. And we also know there's a book of Noah that we don't have. And there's a lot of different other ones. We know there's, Enoch, we're only looking at fragments of the actual book of Enoch. And when you read through Enoch, it goes back and forward. It goes like all over the place. And so it's not exactly in the order I think that it was written in. But this is very important from a historical standpoint that we have this. Continuing on. And they departed from Yothbahna and camped at Avronah. And they departed from Avronah and camped at Etzon-Geber. And they departed from Etzon-Geber and camped in the wilderness of Zin, which is Kadesh. And they departed from Kadesh and camped at Mount Hor, on the boundary of the land of Edom. Then Aaron and the Kohanim went up to Mount Hor at the command of Yahuwah and died there in the 40th year after the children of Yisrael had come out of the land of Mitzrayim, on the first day of the 5th month. Now Aaron was 123 years old when he died on Mount Hor. And the sovereign of Arad, the Canaanite, who dwelt in the Negev, in the land of Canaan, heard of the coming of the children of Yisrael. So they departed from Mount Hor and camped at Zalmanah. And they departed from Zalmanah and camped at Punan. And they departed from Punan and camped at Obath. And they departed from Obath and camped at Ir ha-Avrim, at the border of Moab. And they departed from Eam and camped at Divon Gad. And they departed from Divon Gad and camped at Alman Say that one, Eli. What do you got?
That's lost. Right there. Alman Divlathima.
I think I might have done better. And they departed from Alman Diva Lath Yema and camped in the mountains of Ephraim before Nebo. And they departed from the mountains of Ephraim and camped in the desert plains of Moab by the Yarden of Jericho. And they camped by the Yarden from Beth Yeshimoth as far as Abel ha-Shittim in the desert plains of Moab. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe in the desert plains of Moab by the Yarden of Jericho, saying, Speak to the children of Israel and say to them, When you have passed over the Yarden into the land of Canaan, then you shall drive out all the inhabitants of the land before you, and shall destroy all their engraved stones, and shall destroy all their molded images, and lay waste all their high places. And you shall possess the land and dwell in it, for I have given you the land to possess. Now, the difference between the world we live in today, down here in a third world country, the Catholics have taken over this place, right? There's idols everywhere, there's statues of everywhere, there's pillars, there's obelisks, there's all these crazy stuff. But, the story I saw in the States this week is that the Orange Commander, Donald J. Trump, he is actually bringing back a giant statue of Albert Pike. He is actually bringing it back, the Free Masonic Commander. Supposedly they knocked it down during these hoaxes. They run it in the States, but of all things, they're going to spend $10 million and bring the Sovereign Grand Commander Albert Pike, the guy that was, part of dogmas and traditions, the guy that was just all of these people in these free Masonic orders of chaos. It's just they're being exonerated, right? Instead of us being holy people, instead of us nailing the engraved stones, instead of us getting rid of the molded images, instead of us laying waste to all their high places, right? We're taking $10 million of taxpayer money and we're bringing a giant Satanist back into fruition so that we have more shrines, we have more idols, we have more evil in the land, a land that we've already pulled our creator out of. It's crazy. 54. And you shall divide the land by lot as an inheritance among your clans. To the larger you give a larger inheritance, and to the smaller you give a smaller inheritance. Wherever the lot falls to anyone, that is his. You inherit according to the tribes of your fathers. And if you do not drive out the inhabitants of the land from before you, then it shall be that those whom you let remain shall be pricks in your eyes and thorns in your sides, and they shall trouble you in the land where you dwell. And, this is right out of the gate, they jacked this up. Every single one of them, even to the days of Joshua. Joshua jacked this up. Joshua did not consult our creator. He made deals with the enemy. He let the giant people stick around in these places, right? Made pacts with them. We've never been able to do this, right? This is what the people of Yisrael, even to this very day, do, is we cannot obey our creator. This is why we need to come back to our Creator, and we need to walk in His ways, walk in His path, and do what He says we should do. This is why we are separated. This is why when we go to the New Jerusalem, if there is evil in our midst, if somebody's chanting some Warlockian code, we're going to take them outside the city gates, pick up the rocks, and kill them off, right? That's how it is going to be. That's how it was always supposed to be. We were supposed to get rid of evil in our midst. And you get these people that are like, oh, God is a warmonger. He's just a killing machine. Look at all these people. He just went in and killed. Well, these people were a corrupted DNA. These people were Satanists. These people were killing off their kids. These people had all these horrible, horrible practices. They're demons, demon-infested people in meat suits that are sitting there doing great evil. And those are the people that they're like, oh, well, we should have kept them alive. Had the people of Israel kept a lot of the giants alive that they kept alive during these battles, today would look a lot different. The NBA would have double the size hoops, and it would just be a different style of world. 56. And it shall be that I do to you as I thought to do to them. Okay, that takes us out of Numbers right here.
Sister Barb wanted to know where they're doing the statuette.
I can't remember where it's where there was like I can't. Does anyone catch that news article?
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, I should. There's a big news thing on 153 News that we just got put up. It's wherever all of the fake protesters, the BLM guys, and all those guys that were
everywhere.
like, yeah, they were taken down like in the parks when the cops all stood down and they were like wrecking America left and right. It was one of those big things. They pulled his statue down and like we're like doing some crazy stuff on it. So I don't have that. I will get that info and then do a recording on Monday, and I'll make sure I pop that out there into this.
Daughter of Abraham would like to know, should we rent until we have enough money to pay for a home in full in order not to violate Torah? Mortgages offer more protection from evictions.
I would. I mean, this is the thing is we live in a world where you can't really buy a house without a mortgage, right? I don't know many people out there that Yah has blessed with the abilities to do this. And even in the United States of America, even if you own a house, you don't own a house, right? You still have, there's like hundreds of taxes every single year that you have to pay, or they come and take away your own house. So, my hopes and dreams isn't in this current world and current economy. I wouldn't buy a house under a mortgage, right? I mean, lots of things can happen, and you will default on your mortgage, you will lose your house and lose everything you have invested, and it just feels like a bust. Our houses, our homes, all of this stuff, it's not built for the current world we're in, right? We're waiting for a calling away. We are waiting for the second Exodus. We are waiting to lift our heads to the skies, and we're waiting for our Messiah. That is our hopes and dreams. The rest of these banksters, man, they rule the world, right? It is a Judaism consortium of crazy madness out there, and you don't want to get under their hands. You do not want to you don't want to be taking out these loans if you don't have to. And I know that's really hard for a lot of us that just live in North America, and that's what the world's about, right? Everybody takes out a loan. Who can buy a house, right? But if you can save up your house and buy a little house that you can flip, a little hole in the wall, right? That's the best way to do it. Take that hole in the wall and, spend a little time building it back up and start flipping it yourself. Become your own bankster. Right? Because every time that you put yourselves under the hand of the banksters, they will smile and shake your hand and give you a loan, and then they will come and take it away with that same smile. Okay, here we are into the book of Lucas. I could have used equity. Yeah, all that stuff, right? Everybody, all the money you throw into these houses, right? The majority of it, you pay $1,500 on a house in the States, 1,000 of it goes to interest, right? At the end of the day, there's all these fees, all this other stuff. Unless you're able to pay on the base of it, you're just paying the man. And what are we paying the man for? Just to get, richer so we can get poorer? That's the name of the game, right? And this is why the people of Yah were given land, right? That's why they had all these rules and regulations that they were not supposed to sell certain things, and at the end of the Jubilee years, they would get something back. Had to be made right? And only things inside of cities could be gotten rid of. Everything else fall to your family. That's what this was all about. So that the people of Yah had security, had a way forward, and I don't know how you guys have security with a lease. I don't know how you have it. Even renting is sketchy. I did it all my life. Yah has provided, and it's tough. Life is tough, guys. It really, really is. Okay, let's roll into the next thing. Lucas, who's giving me the breakdown of Lucas? Jaden.
That's funny. Yes.
That's you, buddy.
So last chapter we are in Joshua's ministry. He went around healing on the Sabbath day, on the Shabbat day, and the Pharisees are stalking him. They won't leave him alone at this point. So he healed them, and they were started trying to figure out, is it right to heal on Shabbat? Is that work? Is that something you should do? And Yehoshua started questioning them. If they had an animal fall into a pit, would they not rescue it? And then he started talking about a wedding feast and how many are called but few are chosen. Some people make excuse not to come. Some people that do show up aren't dressed right. They aren't at the right spots, and they're just picking the wrong seats. So it's that many are called but few are chosen. So be ready.
Yeah, and Sister Barb, she goes, and this is really good advice. I love Sister Barb and her crew. She always has like really good advice on this stuff. She says 10K equals a small barn, 4K 1 acre, 14K gets you a home in some states, right? And we know people that that have literally found like these lands that have been like seized by people, and they actually did get into it with the hand of the man, but it was like $150 a month. And it was just a piece of land, and there was like there's nothing to it. And eventually, I think what was her? How long before she pays it off? Is it off?
I think it's 3 years total.
I think in 3 years she was able to pay it off. This little chunk of land, and they went out and bought a bunch of tents. They went out and bought like little log cabins on Amazon or something of the sort. And so these people have decided to fight against the man. And it's like, guys, we've all gotten used to electricity and commodes and all this indoor plumbing and all this other stuff like this, but there is a better way of freedom, and freedom isn't free, right? You can say you're free with the people from North America, the land of the free and the home of the slaves, right? You're tax slaves. It does not matter. The first thing you got to understand is you're tax slaves. And if you can just get a little chunk of land out in the middle of like some of these little no-name places, the thing is, when you're ever in an airplane and you're flying and you're looking down, you fly out of the city and then you look down, and all below you just see ground, right? You don't see you see a house here, a house there. But for the most part, our creators created such a vast set of lands of these psychopaths that say that there's too many people, we gotta depopulate the world, right? They're just a bunch of losers that are trying to steal off the resources of the world, because there's a lot of resources. There's a lot of campsites. There's a lot of places you guys can get cheap. Look around. When you get into the hand of man, you start spending $100,000 on this little house, and you get fired and you can't do it. You got to take another mortgage. Get another mortgage. You're just in bed deeper with these guys, and you can't really own a house in the States. It's really, really hard. So let's go in. Do you have something else? What do you got? Mystical.
Daughter of Abraham.
Yes.
In the Old Testament, were men considered valuable and women not, because it's multiple instances of anointed men who allowed their concubines' daughters to be put in harm's way to save the men?
No, I don't think so. I mean, you have all the men, and they're always dying off in war, right? I mean, they're not sending their women off to war. Women are as equally important as men. There's just different roles and regulations, right? Obviously, I'll state the obvious, men are built bigger, or they were supposed to, up until the whole G.I. Jane world came out and the women started lifting weights, pumping iron, running testosterone, and getting bigger and stronger than men, and started wearing men's shoes. There's a place for women and there's a place for men. There was also a place for slaves. There was a place for concubines, things of that nature, right? The entire world of the concubines was to build your families in a faster, bigger method. Back in the days, if you did not have a large family, the marauders were going to come by and they were going to wipe your entire farm out, take everything you have, take whatever women you have, and it was over. The faster you could make a big family and a large family and defend yourself and have more people defend yourself, the safer you all were, right? There are definitely some very twisted incidents where women have totally got owned in scriptures. But at the end of the day, it's not the women going out to war, right? We have an accounting of everybody. The people that are supposed to be dying in the war, the people that are supposed to be like, if they're expendable, it would be the men, because they're the ones who go off to die for their country per se. So I hope that answers that. There's definitely some weird incidents in scriptures that women have definitely taken the short end of the stick, no doubt. But as far as women being lesser or anything of the sort, I don't see it like that. And I definitely don't see it how those in Judaism see it, to where the women aren't supposed to learn Torah. They're not supposed to, when Paul speaks about women not talking in a congregation, widows having to be authorized, all of this kind of stuff. I don't see it. I see, anybody in a proper relationship with a great woman, it's a 50-50, right? It is like you really both need to be living up to your 50% of your 100% that you're both doing. So all hail to the women. We love the women, and men have their place as well. Okay, Lucas 15, Messiah's world and Messiah's journey. Now all the tax collectors and the sinners were coming to him to hear him. And the Pharisees and scribes grumbled, saying, "This one receives sinners and eats with them." Now, people don't understand that these people, these so-called Jews, the religious system of the days, the Sadducees and the Pharisees, this was part of their rules and regulations, right? You would not go in and eat with the tax collectors. You would not go eat with the sinners, right? The tax collectors, in the eyes of those from Judea, from those in the land back in the day, were traitors. Right? They jumped on board with Rome and they became traitors. So if you're a tax collector, if you're like Matthew, you are hated. You are not a loved individual. And so their complaint is you're sitting with them. Messiah. And he spoke this parable to them, saying, "What man among you, having 100 sheep, and having lost one of them, does not leave the 99 in the wilderness and go after the one which is lost until he finds it? And having found it, he lays it on his shoulders, rejoicing. And having come home, he calls together his friends and neighbors, saying to them, 'Rejoice with me, for I have found my sheep, which was lost.' I say to you that in the same way there shall be more joy in the Shamayim over one sinner repenting than over 99 righteous ones who need no repentance." This is a call to action for all of us, guys. This is an absolute call that we are out there looking for this one. This is what it is all about. And guys, we had 20 cows at one point, and we live in this vast jungle, a very dangerous, very foliage-ridden jungle. And our dang cows would run away, and they would take off, right? There's 15 feet of grass all around them. There's no need for them to ever wander away. But yet they would jump from jungle to jungle to jungle. And we spent the first 4 or 5 years of our life down here in these jungles looking for our cows, right? And it would be sometimes one cow. And we would look and we would look. I'd send the kids out to look for the cows. We had little two-way radios, and all day long we're looking for that one cow. All the rest of them we have locked in here, right? We should have been rejoicing that we had 15 cows all here, but we have lost this one cow, and it eats at you, it hurts you, and you just wonder where the cow went. And when we find that cow, we are ecstatic. We're built for joy. We're like, yay, this one cow, we found our cow. This is the parable right here, right? We're so happy about the one, we didn't rejoice about the other 15 that never ran away. And this is what the kingdom of heaven is like, right? When one person repents, when my dear old mom finally puts down her bacon bits and finally comes into Torah, finally repents and finally loves our Creator really with all of her heart, mind, and soul, that will be a day of rejoicing. I hope that day comes. I keep praying. I keep hoping for all of you guys out there with your family that makes fun of you and laughs at you and thinks that this is a big joke and a big gag. You're like, haha, you're a Torah keeper. Oh, you're better. What are you, Moses' special ones, right? Keep working with them, right? Keep working. Something may hit them in the head one day. They may have an accident and lose their ability to walk, and all of a sudden everything you have ever said comes to fruition. All we have to do is be the seed bearers. We have to be the ones planting the seed. 8. Or what woman, having 10 silver coins, if she loses one coin, does not light a lamp and sweep the house and seek diligently till she finds it? And having found it, she calls friends and neighbors together, saying, "Rejoice with me, for I have found the coin which I lost." I say to you, in the same way, there is joy in the presence of the messengers of Elohim over one sinner repenting. Right? Can you imagine this, right? A whole horde of messengers that are like, whoa, as the people, one single dirty sinner comes out of his sin, washes his spiritual soul, and becomes a part of the kingdom to come, and people are ecstatic. right? And this same story is actually reiterated in the book of the Nazarene, which is the last book in Yah Scriptures. And this was actually Messiah's mother that lost her coin. And Messiah talks about this, how his mom was searching and swept the entire house looking for this one coin. And I think she found it too. Can't remember though. 10. Actually 11. And he said, a certain man had 2 sons. And the younger of them said to his father, Father, give me the portion of goods put forth. And he divided his livelihood between them. And not many days after, the younger son, having gathered all together, went away to a distant country, and there wasted his goods with loose living. And when he had spent all, there arose a severe scarcity of food throughout that land, and he began to be in need. And he went and joined himself to one of the citizens of this country, and he sent him to his fields to feed pigs. And he was longing to fill his stomach with the pods which the pigs were eating, and no one gave to him. But having come to himself, he said, how many of my father's hired servants have bread enough to spare, and I am perishing with hunger? Having risen, I shall go to my father and say to him, Father, I have sinned against the Shamayim and before you, and I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Make me like one of your hired servants. And having risen, he went to his father. And while he was still a long way off, his father saw him and was moved with compassion, and ran and fell on his neck and kissed him. And the son said to him, Father, I have sinned against the Shamayim and before you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. But the father said to his servants, bring out the best robe and put it on him, and put a ring on his hand and sandals on his feet, and bring the fattened calf here and slaughter it, and let us eat and rejoice, because the son of mine was dead and is alive again, and he was lost and is found. And they began to rejoice. And his older son was in the field. And when he came and approached the house, he heard music and dancing. And having called one of the servants, he asked what this meant. And he said to him, your brother has come, and your father has slaughtered the fattened calf, because he received him back in health. And he was wroth and would not go in. So his father came out and pleaded with him. And answering, he said to his father, see, these many years I have been serving you, and I have never transgressed a command of yours. But to me you have never given a young goat, so I could rejoice with my friends. But when this son of yours came, who has devoured your livelihood with whores, you slaughtered the fattened calf for him? Then he said to him, Son, you are always with me, and all I have is yours. And we had to rejoice and be glad, for your brother was dead and is alive, and was lost and is found. Guys, this parable is literally the story of our Creator as we go from life to death, as we go from sin into repentance, and as we start walking this Torah. Guys, there's no such thing as once saved, always saved. Matthew 7 very, very clearly tells us that salvation can be snatched out of what we think is a secured thing. Salvation is achieved with fear and trembling and a lifestyle that is in repentance to our Creator's ways. We're not going to be perfect. We should never, ever throw ourselves in front of the bus when we fall and we sin, but we absolutely need to get on our knees and we need to pray. We need to bring ourselves in humbleness to our Creator. Salvation is achieved with a clean heart, clean hands, clean mind, which is why we need to get rid of this tell live vision programming. All of this satanic music, all of this worldly endeavors that we are at. Separate ourselves. Become different than everybody you see around you. And one day we will all meet up together as a family. One time, your family, part of us is probably all sitting around this very table right here, right? We are not your blood family, but according to Messiah Yahushua, our family are those who keep the laws of our Creator. That qualifies every one of you guys out there as my brother, my sister, my father, my mother, all of us. This is our family. Don't be sad when our family rejects us. Don't be sad when we're the outcast, where we're the strange one among the rest of this world, because that's what we're called to be. Because this strangeness is going to be a common occurrence in the kingdom to come. And so the strangeness right now is simply a rehearsal for the world that we are going to be getting into, Yah willing. So with that, everybody, I hope that you guys have a wonderful, wonderful Shabbat. Jade, are you ready?
Yep.
Please bless our brothers and sisters.
Yahuwah barak you and guard you. Yahuwah make his face shine upon you and show favor to you. Yahuwah lift his face upon you and give you peace.
Okay. All right, brothers and sisters.
Before you play it,
All right, what you got?
Daughter of Abraham wants to know about Jasher 19:24. Hold on, where did your question go? Why did Lot not intervene since he was a judge? Did I read?
At that time, the wife of Lot bore him a daughter, and he called her name Paltith, saying, because Elohim had delivered him and his whole household from the son of Balaam. And Paltith, daughter of Lot, grew up, and one of the men of Sodom took her for a wife.
Where's it say he was a judge?
That's what I was wondering. Why?
I just got done. I just got done reading that. I can't recall any place in there that Lot was a judge. Look it up, Jay. Was Lot a judge in anything? I don't think he was a judge in any of this. In fact, even though Lot was amongst all of these crazy sodomites, crazy things, when you read the book of Jasher, when you read the sins of this little place, it's a foul place. So as far as, and you can actually see just from regular scriptures, right? When the city of Sodom was about to be taken to school, right? All the people gathered around Lot's house. Lot didn't seem to have a lot of power. They were simply merely letting him exist in and around this. I cannot recall a single place that I ever saw Lot was a judge or any part of this. But yeah, his daughter got owned, and you can see that there was rules inside of Sodom that if you went, people would come into this little town and they would give them a whole bunch of gold, a whole bunch of stuff, but they would give them no food. And they would sit there and wait for them to whittle away. It was a game. Human destruction and misery was a game for the people of Sodom. And so when you intervened and you gave them a piece of bread, or you were trying to sustain them, keep them alive, you became a part of the punishment of Sodom. Why these people didn't just run away out of that city, I don't know. Why they decided to go, maybe maybe they were going to be dead on the way out of it. Maybe it was such a long journey into this place. I do not know why these guys subjected themselves to that kind of misery, because the first time that these guys beat me up and jacked me up and left me there along the wayside, I'm going to be going out the gates if that's possible, and I'm going to be walking as far as I can. Especially since we've been down with the fasting, I know that you can go a long time without food. Maybe not water, maybe they're in the desert, I don't know, but that's the best I got. So with that, everybody, much love to you all. Shabbat Shalom.
Walking steady on this road you made, every step guided by your ways. When I listen close, I understand all your truth held in your perfect plan. Rising higher than before, lifting praise from deep in my core. Lifting praise, Yahuwah, your presence sets me free. Dancing wild, 'cause you're all I need. My heart alive with pure delight as I move within your light. Dancing, praising, celebrating. Your ways are true, and I'm not waiting to lift my hands to you. In the morning when I rise to pray, in the evening as I end each day, every word you speak becomes my song, teaching me where I belong. Rising higher than before, your truth is what I'm living for. Living for Yahuwah, your presence sets me free. Dancing wild, 'cause you're all I need. My heart alive with pure delight as I move within your light. Dancing free. Dancing wild, cause you're all I need. My heart alive with pure delight. As I move within your light. Dancing, praising, celebrating. Your ways are true and I'm not waiting. To lift my hands to you. To lift my hands to you. Forever lifting praise to you.
All right, beautiful family, we love you tremendously. May Yahuwah bless you and keep you. May his light forever shine on you. May his face forever be a part of your world. May the Torah be everything in your world. May Messiah Yahushua truly be the president of our lives in the world to come. And may you guys all have a great week. May we all high five each other in the kingdom to come. Much love to y'all.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, everyone.